If you have ever tried to track your language learning progress via the streaks that you've either broken or maintained, the number of words that you know, or just by the test score that you had in your French class, let's say, then you've probably also felt really frustrated because sooner or later, you're going to feel, hey, I don't think I'm making enough progress, or I'm not sure if I'm making the right progress or fast enough progress. When we put all of our eggs in a basket like that and think about only the metrics-focused visible progress that we can see, we also forget another side of progress that has way more long-term benefits, I would argue, on a language learner's success to fluency, as well as making sure that the language learning process as a whole is fulfilling for them. And that is, we ignore the more internal progress that takes a little bit more effort to build because we're not used to it, but at the end leads to better results and a lot more calmer progress. And another way to track language learning growth that is less pressure on you. So let's rewind back a second, because when we're thinking so much about metrics and we're looking at good spreadsheets and trackers, everything like that, I love those too, don't get me wrong, but they focus our attention and search for validation that we're doing well enough into pure numbers. And numbers themselves don't actually give us insight whether you are actually becoming more confident, becoming more connected in your language, or how expressive they are or aren't becoming when they're speaking. And this is what I have seen as well in my own language learning with other language learners that I've coached too, because with such a focus on that visible progress, we then train ourselves through that to internalize that visible progress is the only valid way to track progress in a language. And it feels good in the short term to see all of those numbers. But the truth is that internal, non-visible progress, but progress that you can actually feel instead of only measure, is going to reap the benefits for you long-term in your language learning. As I stated before, whether you are learning a language out of passion, you really like it, or professional opportunities outside that. The fact is, even though we learn languages generally to connect with other people, we also, in that process of wanting to connect to others, have to connect to ourselves. What we cannot give ourselves, we cannot fully give to others. And so thinking about that connection, of course, we want the vehicle of fluency to be that link to the connection that we are desiring. And even underneath that, what we actually truly want from fluency is a peace of mind and feeling confident, right? And again, we keep on thinking that fluency is the only way to get us to this confidence and peace of mind, but it's only one way to do so, and makes us forget that this kind of joy and engagement in our learning process is really accessible at any time, whether you are a beginner or intermediate or an advanced learner. And that is why I use this part that I'm going to show you of the Mindful Fluency Method whenever I see clients that I coach get really frustrated, especially when they feel that they are not tracking progress or that they're just obsessing over their results from the metrics that they're focusing on. This process really helps you connect with the internal progress that isn't so visible, but brings you so much more joy and keeps you so much more internally instead of externally motivated in the long term. In a nutshell, the other ways we can measure progress is, 1, how aware have we been? AKA, what new thoughts, what new helpful or harmful patterns, what beliefs are you noticing about your language learning that you didn't before? The second metric we can use, and then reflecting on how well you applicated what you wanted. Are you able to use what you've learned in real life, however that looks for you? And then the next one is alignment. So how well does your study routine match your goals and your ever-changing energy? Because as I've said in other videos of mine, adjustment and the skill of adaptation is truly what every well-rounded learner who's confident really needs to master. So even just adding these next 3 questions into your routine for this week is going to help you rewire your brain to think about reflecting on progress in real time. And when you do that consistently through your language learning journey, that's really when the internal motivation will naturally build for you. So the first question is, what felt easier this week? What am I proud of? What would I like to adjust for the coming week? And also just more deeply connect to how you relate to your language learning experience internally. Our emotional experience and our, I would say, internal world in general is so much a factor in whether or not we are successful in language learning, just as much as the logistics side of learning a language is. And whenever our logistics are feeling like they're stalling or getting in the way of our progress in some way, we feel like we're just not making any progress at all, when actually we're just forgetting the other half of the puzzle that focuses on our internal world and how we are actually doing and feeling. Because really, if you think about it, logistics can be anything, right? Logistics can be anywhere. You might learn just one word a day, and depending on how you look at it, if you are confident in how you are approaching your learning because you're doing it sustainably and enjoyably for yourself, then a metric is just a metric. And having learned just word doesn't make you feel less confident because you weren't AKA productive enough or whatever you might tell yourself in order to just add unnecessary pressure to your language learning. A person who learns one word or no words in their language learning journey can be as confident as a person who learned a ton of words at a very advanced level. But it really depends on how your internal world is doing. And if you don't check in on that internal world, then that's when, even with the most perfect routine, you can still feel like you're restarting and getting overwhelmed and frustrated and not getting anywhere with your progress. When you start noticing progress in this way, that is truly when you have so many more outlets to be able to track progress in general, and you get to be present in your process. You get to, I would say, trust your process a lot more often than having to question it all the time, which can get very exhausting. I know, because I've been there as well. That is also why I created Multilingual You, which is my one-on-one language coaching experience that I love to walk all language learners who work with me with, to not only learn more efficiently and get to fluency faster, but also to help them truly enjoy the learning process as they go throughout their language life, no matter what level they are. Because at the end of the day, fulfillment and feeling connected and living a more international life, whether we're abroad or we are also on the couch just at home resting, there's so many wonderful benefits of learning a language, and I want to help you get there if you feel like that is the right decision for you. So make sure to book a free discovery call in the comments below if you feel that you're on the fence about whether you're a right fit for the program, and I get to answer all of your questions there as well. You can also grab for free my language learning sustainability planner in the pinned comment below, because it does walk you through more of the reflection questions that I love to also ask my clients who I work with in order to, again, nurture this reflection process. And remember, it is okay to want to see progress, but we can't forget that both the external and the internal, visible and invisible progress count together. We need both because, again, language learning and reaching fluency in general isn't just a means to an end. We want it to be a sustainable, enriching, fulfilling experience, and I know that that can be exactly that for you. So I hope that you got some good insights from this video to apply to your language learning even this week. Write me in the comments below if you did, and I'll see you in my next video soon.